This is the K&N Series 50 NextGen Cold Air Intake with the high flow oiled filter, and it will be available for all 2021 and newer 5-liter powered F-150s. Now the K&N should appeal to the V8 truck owners out there that essentially want the best of both worlds out of their aftermarket intake system. The increased sound of an open element or open filter design, but with a partially sealed airbox here to really help prevent that excess heat soak from getting into the intake from underneath the hood. Now the K&N will include a rotomolded plastic intake tube here, unique molded airbox design, and of course the signature K&N high flow filter, all for right around that high $400 price point. Now moving into our features block, and the biggest is the fact that the NextGen is one of the newer intake systems from the iconic brand K&N, of course, with the main feature or benefit of delivering what K&N calls their hybrid airbox design. What does that mean? Well, traditionally you either have a fully sealed airbox or a design that is pretty much open up, basically exposing that filter to the elements for maximum flow, right? Now both have their pros and both have their cons, but in this case K&N has come up with something that is called their NextGen system that is going to blend the two airbox styles together. So with that being said, owners can enjoy some of the pros of each. For instance, you're going to be getting a little bit more sound underneath hard acceleration here thanks to the partially open airbox design, but at the same time it's designed in a way to help keep lower intake air temperature down, and that is essential, especially when you're trying to keep performance up in those warmer climates or environments. Now that hybrid design, along with other components, leads to a nearly 40% increase in airflow over the factory airbox that you'll be replacing, and K&N advertised gains as much of 19 horsepower and 24 pound-feet of torque with this system installed without the use of any custom or can tuning, which is very impressive according to them. Of course, that has not been verified here in-house, but just know that you do not need to use a custom or can tune in order to enjoy the benefits of the K&N. Moving into the construction with the Series 50, let's start off with that legendary K&N filter here. Guys, if you didn't know, this is a washable, reusable, high flow option featuring that oiled cotton media design. Now this filter with proper maintenance will essentially last you the life of your F-150. The filter itself is going to reside in that molded hybrid airbox, which we've already covered at length, but just know that the airbox does feature that molded plastic design, just like the molded intake tube that we have over here. Now both the tube itself and even the airbox have been CAD designed to help maximize airflow while still fitting easily in the stock location. Speaking of which, the intake will mount in the stock location using all of the included clamps and hardware and is backed by K&N's signature 1,000,000-mile warranty. Now your price point for the K&N Series 50 NextGen will land around the high $400 ballpark, which I would say puts the K&N more in line with other premium intake options from companies like AFE, Corsa, or air raid systems for your F-150. Regardless, a lot of options in the category, so definitely check out some of those other options if you'd like. Read up on some of the customer reviews, always a great way to get some feedback from F-150s who have installed the different systems and will give you their honest feedback. Last but not least, let's get into our installation portion of today's video. Again, intakes in general, simple bolt-on job. So because of that, the site is gonna call this a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you about an hour or so to get in place from start to finish. But now to give you a better idea of how this one might go down on your F-150 at home, let's throw it out to the shop for our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
For this install, you need a ratchet, a 15, a 13, an 8, and a 7mm socket, a socket extension, and a 21mm wrench. Today we're going to be installing a cold air intake on our F-150. But before we get into that, let's watch a quick video of how to uninstall the OEM one.
So first we have to remove our stock intake. So we have 2 clamps that we're going to have to loosen to get our pipe out. They're going to be 7mm, or you can use a flathead screwdriver. So I get a 7mm socket on here to loosen this clamp. And then we'll do the same thing for this one. So now we can remove our line from the little tab there, and then disconnect our intake tube. And now we can wiggle our intake tube out of our throttle body. So now we can go ahead and disconnect our fitting here. And then we can wiggle our intake tube out from our throttle body. And we can snake that out. Now we can remove our 2 push clips at our intake hose. Now we can remove the bolt that's holding in our intake box and remove our intake box. It's going to be a 13 millimeter. Got a 13 millimeter socket on it. And now we can pull up on our intake box and remove it.
Welcome back. Now that we've uninstalled the OEM air intake, we can go ahead and install the new one. So first we're going to put in the air box. We're going to line it up just like that. And you're going to take the bolt you took out earlier. We're going to screw it into this hole right here. Then we're going to tighten it down with a 13 millimeter socket and a ratchet. After that, you're going to take the provided clips, place them in the hole, these 2 holes. Once you've done that, you're going to install your filter clips. You're going to find this little metal piece right here, install the red one, and then we're going to install our yellow one, or our orange one right next to that. Then we can install our air filter. All right, so for this next part, depending on what model year F-150 you have, you might need to use this second hole too. We only need this one for the ventilation, so we're just going to plug it up. And to tighten this down, we're going to use a 15 millimeter socket and a ratchet. Then we're going to take a 21 millimeter wrench, and we're going to attach this fitting right here. It should be tight enough. After that, we're going to attach our intake tube. So we're going to want to get our hose clamps, put it on. We're going to slide this fitting over. Then you want to get an 8 millimeter socket and a ratchet and tighten down this hose clamp right here. After that, you're going to take this big hose clamp, place it over the tube. You're going to take this other hose clamp, place it over here. We're going to connect it right here, right here. And after we get it mounted where we want it, we're going to take a 8 millimeter socket and a ratchet and tighten down this hose clamp right here. After that, we're going to tighten this big hose clamp up here. And you're going to use the same 8 millimeter socket and ratchet to tighten that down. And lastly, we got to reconnect this hose. Alrighty, that about wraps up this review and install of the K&N Series 50 NextGen Cold Air Intake with high flow oiled air filter for a 2021 to 2026 5-liter F-150. Thank you for watching, and remember, for everything F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.